Hey everyone, Anipod here. So today I'm going to review the anime episodes that I've been watching through week 8 of seasonal anime. So yeah, without further ado, let's do this. So the first episode I'm going to talk about is the episode 11 of ReZero season 3, and I made some notes here. I'm going to check them. Right. So for me, this was a very good episode, especially since we got to know more about Liliana as a character. Because before that, like she was fun, but I didn't really think too much of Liliana. But her backstory in the latest episode was actually really good. It even made me cry a bit. Actually, I'm gonna get to that. But we see her, wanting to do this by herself because I think she was with her family first, right? Or her sister or something like that. I forgot. But then she decided to go on her own journey. She was suffering, with the hunger and everything. And I actually got very emotional. There was like one scene where she was singing, and there was this man who gave her like a little coin. Little coin. I don't think it was worth a lot, but that little coin made her shines up, which made her so happy. And that in itself made me very emotional. That such little thing can give her such confidence and lift her spirit up. It's sad at the same time, actually. Then she got some help from people, right? That helped her when she was in the worst situation. Um, and then, of course, when she was really, really hungry and tired, she found this river, and that's where she got the inspiration more for her music. And then started singing. We heard the song also when Priscilla was fighting Sirius, which Priscilla also managed to defeat Sirius. But I remember I actually cried a little bit during that specific scene because I thought that was such emotional, the fight together with Priscilla singing on top. So that was a really good scene. I know some other people that said like, oh, they weren't too crazy. They never really cared about Liliana, so that scene didn't do a lot for them, and I can understand that. But for me, it really, I mean, that scene in itself made me think more about Liliana. So yeah. Anyway, that was that episode. So the next episode I'm going to review is an episode 7. So let me just change the name. There we go. And it's the episode 7 of Ameku, the detective. So, what did I want to discuss about this one? Well, it wasn't a lot actually, but I did find it the 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 mystery to be kind of interesting with the mom and her giving the juice to her son, which made him sick, and she was like, and as it turned out, the juice had been replaced by to grape juice. That's why he was feeling ill because of her. I don't remember what the disease was called, but it was like a disease that she makes her child suffer, so people would feel sorry for her and think that she's a good mom. I never knew about this actually until recently. I mean, sure, there are probably moms out there that are not the best to their children, but I didn't know there was a diagnosis for that actually. Anyhow, looks like she's gonna get her sentence, and the boy will be taken in by his father. Let's hope he's treated well, better there. Yeah, that was that episode. The next one is also an episode 7, and it's episode 7 of Honey Lemon Soda. And I actually made quite a lot of notes for this recent episode. Let's see. Right. There was the whole story with Serena because I always thought Serena, even in middle school, she was like the popular one. But it looks like Serena went through a similar situation as I think her name was Ishimori, right? The girl. Uh, Ishimori, yeah. So she was kind of in the same position as Ishimori in that situation. And that's where I guess she got the feelings for Miura because Miura was kind of protecting her as well. So it looks like Miura has some things. He's a good person. He protects the bullied ones, right? That's good. Um, but I guess she became very dependent on Miura, and I think that's what was the reason why they broke up too, because she said like to Ishimori, sorry, not Ishimura, Ishimori, that But I'm the only one who needs you. You don't need me. So that's why. I actually thought Miura dumped her because, like, I thought that was the reason because obviously she still have feelings for Ishimori as well. We could see that. And no, not Ishimori. Serena still have feelings for Miura. Sorry, right. I mix up the names. And this is where Ishimori is starting to cheer Serena on Miura, right? Because she still has her own insecurities, like, oh, I'm gonna be in the way here. And she was like, let Serena and Miura go to the festival, not me. But as it turns out, Miura actually wanted to go with Ishimori, and he was even waiting at her house, but it was too late. Now I'm glad though that eventually Ishimori told her feelings and accepted her feelings and told her feelings to Serena. So now they're both honest with each other. It looks quite okay now because I thought that there would be like more difficulties between them if they're both in love with the same guy. But it looks like they're okay with it for now. I don't know how it will be in the future though. Right, I think that's what I was going to say about that episode. Sorry for mixing up the names before while I was reviewing that episode. Anyway, the next one is also an episode 7, and it's the episode 7 of The Online Shopper in Another World. And let's see, it was a bit funny actually when he started to defeat the big bear with the shovel. He was spinning around that was funny, and he was able to sell the bear as well, I think. No, as I understood it also because I remember the dog person before. He was up in the tree, right? And he comes back, and it looks like he can control those beast dogs. Now I will give some respects to the bandits actually because I was misunderstanding them before. Well, the bad guys are after him, the guy. I thought that they would, when he went out in the forest to look for the flower, I actually thought they would go in like and do harm to the wife and kid, but they didn't do that. They only went for him. So on that perspective, I guess I can respect them because I thought they were gonna do a lot worse. But yeah, looks like he still has some history with them as well. I don't know exactly what happened though. Now they found the flower though, so that's good. Also, I was a bit surprised actually that Primula was able to track him where he was, and she was even able to find it because I thought that we would never see her again, or maybe not until the end of the season or something like that. Like that was it with her. But no, she followed him, and they spent the night at the hotel. I was still surprised though that she stood naked in front of the open window. I was like, well, people can see you now, right? But well. And now we got the situation, right, with Anemone doing the fireball inside the house. So I don't know how this is gonna end, but I think they were inside, right? So I'm thinking that maybe the house is gonna be burned down. Where are they gonna live then? They probably have to rebuild the house or something like that. Unless he can get some of those Dragon Ball capsules at the online store, right? He can just throw and the house appears. I don't know. Anyway, that was that episode. The next episode is also episode 7, and it's the episode 7, season 4 of Dr. Stone, Science Future. We finally got to know more about this Dr. X, right? Who he is, because from now he looks to be the enemy, right? But it looks like he was actually the mentor at NASA for Senku. And Senku asked him a question, and he replied they even met in real life when he visited there, although they didn't say anything to each other. And they also cooperated, when the birds turned into stone, they cooperated to find the mystery behind it. And it looks like also, it's understandable that they both turn into stones at the same time, but as I understood the end, they also woke up from the stone at the same time. So I'm guessing from there, they both started their science journey at the same time and kind of, right. So that's interesting. And he's also calling Senku Dr. Senku. I remember, when he was replying to Senku in the mails, he actually said Dr. Senku. But now they don't say that. They say Dr. Taiyu, right? Because we think he's fighting Dr. Taiyu, which actually makes me think that if he's instead said Dr. Senku, maybe the conflict wouldn't be there, or maybe less of the conflict, because then Dr. X knows who it is. Maybe they will be much more able to cooperate from there if they were saying Dr. Senku from the start. That's interesting. Let's see. And right, there was also another thing I was thinking about, because as I understood the story, so when the people in the other science team in the America, when they turn into rocks, I think they were told like you have to stay awake to not die in the rock, right? So if you don't stay awake, then you will die. That's how I understood it. And the people, Senku was doing the same thing, right? He was counting the days, etc., while he was a rock, so he never fell asleep either. This makes me wonder. I don't know if this is a plot hole in the story or not, but it makes me wonder, like, why did everyone else survive? Because, for example, if we took a look at some of the other characters that were turned into stones, I don't think they were ever informed to stay awake. So maybe maybe they were just lucky to stay awake. And what about the other statues? Will they be awake? Will they be alive when they are awake, being waken up with that fluid? I don't know. So I don't know if that's a plot hole, maybe, but we'll see. Maybe I misunderstood too. And we still don't know how this situation all started from the start, like the big thing from the start, because the ones who were at the NASA station, right? They talked about some quote foreign threat, but so far we don't know exactly what has happened and what was the reason. And so I'm curious to know more about that, because yes, I remember in the last season we had someone who had one of those things that would make people into rock, but I don't think they were the cause of the first big one. So I'm still curious to see if we ever gonna find out what was the main reason, or if they just gonna end it like, oh, the world is saved. I don't know. Anyway, looking forward to more of this show. All right, the next one I want to discuss is actually episode 8, so I'm gonna change it a bit. Hang on. There we go. And it's the episode 8 of Momentary Lily. So, I have a few things to say about this episode first. First of all, this episode and the episode before that has actually been really enjoyable. This show has had its ups and downs, but I'm starting to really enjoy the show. Although nothing too crazy, but yeah. But the two latest episodes have really boosted up the points. And if we look at the latest episode, episode 8, I think the animation, because we know how, I don't remember the name of the studio now, Gohans, I think. We know how they are with their camera angles, right? But I think it worked very well now with the fighting scenes. For example, when Rengi was fighting the big monster that showed up, right? They made the action really, really nice, I think. And it looks like Renge found the sister too. Now, this is where it gets interesting though, because Renge, apparently the real Renge is dead. So we're trying to figure out right now, why is this Renge standing, But that also explains why her wounds heal. But I don't still understand the backstory why she sees Yuri in her past. But I guess she knew Yuri from the start, but Yuri doesn't remember her either. So there's a mystery behind that too, which I'm very curious about. But yeah, that explains why Yuri's injuries heal. At least she's not human. We don't really know too much about her. Maybe she was the creator of all these things, all these monsters. I don't know. Maybe she's the leader without knowing it. But if she was the leader, they wouldn't attack her. On the other hand, unless because she's programmed to be a good person. Now maybe they are programmed to defeat her as well. I don't know how it works. There's a lot of mystery there, but that in itself makes the show more interesting. Now, I did check the preview for the upcoming episode, which seems to be a nonsense scene, so I don't think it's going to be as crazy. But, I'm going to keep watching and we'll see how this whole thing turns out. All right, the next episode is also an episode 8, and it's an episode 8 of TASOKARE Hotel, which I'm really enjoying. I think I said it the last time too. So surprisingly, we now have the first guest that has the original face, because usually when these guests arrive at the hotel, they have another face that should somehow remind them of their past, right? Now, before I go back to that, I actually started to think if there's any like big mystery behind the hotel owner, the guy with the fire in his head. Because I'm thinking maybe that fire is one of the reasons of his death, right? Maybe arson. I don't know. There's still a lot of mystery on the hotel owner, but the big boss. But we shall see. But yeah, first guest with the original face, and that was apparently the reason was apparently because she's very well known. She's a very well known idol, which also Neko is simping for. She's very crazy. Oh, she talked to me, which is Neko is very adorable, by the way, in the show. I really think that. I don't know who it's Rika Momokawa who is the voice actor. She's doing an amazing job on Neko. Really, she really nails the voice acting on Neko. Really satisfied with that. Where's the mouse? There it is. Now, I think, there's going to be another episode next week, with the continuation of this idol woman, because apparently they're trying to get her to sing a song at the hotel. Although some of the people there with the instruments are a bit reluctant, but we shall see how it goes. And she also says like, oh, I lived a happy, good life, but, she's eating a lot. She's overdosing the medicine. So maybe this is like her consequence of the stress of being an idol. I don't know. And there's also weird. I saw someone else said it also, because I'm watching the episode on YouTube on. I think the channel is called It's Anime or something like that. They have like the legal license of the anime, and someone was making a comment there about that. And I also heard it as well, that sometimes when this idol woman is appearing on the screen, there's like this cracking sound around her. And I don't really know, and that's what the other person said also in the comment on that episode, that it doesn't sound right. So I'm wondering what's up with that. And yes, that's what I was saying too, also that, Neko, she's trying to get Atori and Masaki to play their instruments while she sings. That's where they're still a bit reluctant. Anyway, we're going to see how the next episode goes. I think this show is surprisingly good. So if you're not watching this, I highly recommend it. All right, so the next episode, we're going to go back to an episode 7 now, which I'm going to talk about. There we go. And it's the episode 7 of The Guild Receptionist. And I made some notes here. Let's see. Right, so Alina finally did her overtime, right? And now she could enjoy the festival for a little bit at least, because it was interrupted later on. But still, she has some wholesome moments, I think, with Jade, where they were able to hold hands. Although she was a bit reluctant, but eventually she gave in. That was adorable. And also now, I still don't understand the reason behind the villains, the evil guys. Like, what was their point of waking up the dark gods from the star? What would they gain? They even died. So, like, wow. But the dark god, because when they said the dark god, I was expecting to have something huge, huge monster showing up. But there was like two little girls. And the first thing that came into my mind was the two twins that we see in the tricycle scene in The Shining. That was the first thing that came in my mind. And looks like they're not easy to defeat either. So we're gonna see how that works out. Yeah, I guess that's what I can say about that episode. The next episode I'm going to talk about a bit is a show I haven't talked too much about yet. Hang on. because I'm like 2 episodes behind, but still, I did watch episode 20 today, and it sparked a lot of emotions in me, so I really wanted to talk about it. And it's the episode 20 of Orb, which I haven't spoken too much about yet, but I really wanted to talk about episode 20. As I said, I'm a bit behind on this one, but I really want to give this episode 20 a big middle finger. And I also made a very, very angry tweet on this episode. Now, first of all, it was a 10 out of 10 episode. It was a great episode. And this show so far is my anime of the season. But so I will explain what I mean with that. So for you guys who watch this episode, I'm really thinking about the end, because I've always been mentally prepared. I've always looked forward to see, because now you know how what was their names? Hang on. Right. You know, Yolenta leaving Novak, right, when she was 14, and Novak spending all the year thinking she was dead, right? So I was always hoping for that reunion that would happen eventually in the future, where she would see him and they would hug, and everything would be more, well, maybe not peaceful because she's cooperating with the people that wants to go against the church, but still some kind of peace of mind. But no, as soon as he gets out of there, and he just before he opens his eyes, she bursts on fire and she blow herself up. And I was like, and he didn't see who she was, and that's so painful to see. I was actually waiting so many episodes, like I hope we can see them together again, but we won't from here. And now, if I still hope that he will be able to find out it was her, but for now he doesn't know, and I don't think the other ones knew either. They just knew that there was a woman with a tooth missing, that's all. But I was really, really upset with that scene. It was a great scene, by the way. It was a great twist. They handled it so well. But for me, who wanted to see them reunite in a way, it was so painful. And even now, I'm not over that scene. That was painful. And yeah, that's kind of, I was really angry, and I really, really wanted to give this episode a big, big middle finger. I was so upset with that scene, but it was still a very good scene. I will give it that. And this is still my anime of the season. That's what I wanted to say about that episode. Now, the next episode that I want to talk about is, let's see, episode 8. Hang on. There we go. Right. Episode 8 of Medalist. So, let's see. What was my notes? Well, what I can say, I was a bit stressed in this episode because, with her forgetting her bag at the train, or her suitcase in the train, and him having to run all the way before she was about to compete. That was stressful. And I can just imagine how she felt. She had to remain calm, believing. Wow. But he got it back, so that's good. And she was able to compete. And she hasn't competed yet. It's going to be for next episode. So I'm excited to see how she's doing. I guess that's what I can say. And now we are at the last episode, which I'm going to review in this video. And it is episode 8, which I watched today, of Zangyou. So, I have a lot of notes here actually on this one too. So first of all, people actually told me this beforehand, but I didn't see the detail first. But apparently, people already figured out that the bird that we saw in the latest episode was the original director of the anime that she was reincarnated into. I forgot the name of the anime. She also said something very interesting, that when you are dying and being reincarnated into that world, you quote gain something in that world. But for example, for her, she gained she's a bird now. But for Natsuko, she's not gaining anything new by coming into this world. So that actually shows my theory was right from the start, because I've said a few times that I never believed that Natsuko was dead. I believe she was just, because I never heard of anyone dying of expired food. Food poisoning, sure, but not dying. Maybe that can happen, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't really know. But I'd find it very unlikely. But yeah, I think she might have just passed out, and this kind of proves my point a bit, although it's not 100% confirmed yet, I think. But the fact that she hasn't gained anything in this world shows that she might just be unconscious. So I still believe that she will eventually go back to her previous world with all the experiences she has in this anime world to complete the other anime they're working on that is apparently about romance, right? And Luke finally understanding his feelings, and he's been a little bit too honest with them. It's like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you all the time. And I guess that doesn't really reach Natsuko if you keep doing it like that. Although I can understand him because he's like, I don't want you to forget, right? To be honest, I completely understand why he's doing it. But it was a good idea though that they got to go to the onsen, right? To have the little date there. And that's where the other void shows up. And that's another theory that I have, because when the void was shooting its beam, Natsuko said, "Oh, that looks like the beams from my drawings," I think she said something like that. And that makes me think, if we go back to the director that she was talking to before, when they captured the bird, she was like, no matter how you try to edit this story, it's still going to end up the same way with the Luke's depression arc or whatever at the end. So I think when she said, they look like my beams, I think it's actually the director who is controlling these voids, because she's like, I'm gonna end this the way it's supposed to end no matter what. So I think she might be the one controlling the voids. Now, I don't know. This is an original, right? So I don't know if there's any source material. So I'm just guessing here now because I don't know anything what's going to happen. But it would make sense if the director is the one controlling the voids to have her end of the anime. That would make a lot of sense. And now I guess she's kind of challenging Natsuko too. I guess that's also explained why lately Natsuko has had more trouble with defeating these voids with just herself, with her drawings. Even her drawings have had some issues with that, especially even now when she was fighting with making the Gundam, right? The Gundam had some trouble as well. So I think if the director is controlling these voids, she probably understands more how Natsuko's drawings work. Anyway, was there anything else? Let's see. And Natsuko finally understand a bit of romance as well. Now, I think at the end, when she was looking at Luke after they defeated the void, she was saying something like, I forgot what she was saying, but it was some squee or something like that. That just shows, okay, I'm in love with Luke as well. Now, because of my own theory that, she's just unconscious, she's going back to her own world eventually, I don't think it's going to be happy news for them. I think eventually they're going to have to be separated anyway, which is sad. But I think the reason for this isekai is for her to gain the experience of romance, because they're writing a romance anime, I think, in the real world. So her experience with Luke will come in hand when she goes back, right? And I also think they were also talking about teamwork with her fighting with the other soldiers there. That should also help her, because now in the animation studio, right, she's very much, it's just me, I'm the only good one here, right? But I think once she comes back, she probably will be more cooperative. She will ask other people for help, and they will probably be surprised, who are you and what did you do to Natsuko, right? I think that's how it's going to be. And I wonder how the farewell is going to be. If my theory is correct that she's going back to her old world, I wonder how the farewell we're gonna be. Is it going to be a portal where she has to say goodbye to everyone, or how is it gonna work? I don't know. That's interesting too. But anyway, this is a show that's really surprised me. It's one of my favorites so far. I think it's not often that original animes actually nail the story. Many times it's all, has its ups and downs, and sometimes it's all over the place. But I think in this case, the people who made this anime and the story and everything has really put the pieces together in this one. I think it's been very well handled so far. Anyhow, those were the shows that I really wanted to talk about. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I also made my top 10 for this week 8, and it's already on a community note, or on a community post on my YouTube channel. And you can also follow me on X for more anime talk. I have the link in the description box. Other than that, I wish you all a good day. Bye.